So, the mission site.
All right, well, the mission site that we were at was Schneider House. It was in Xenia, Ohio, which was a neighboring community to Cedarville, and they house homeless families, and that's single dads or single moms with kids or couples with kids. They don't house single people.
The Schneider House is run by Interfaith Hospitality Network.
They take these people in for 90 days and care for them, give them food, shelter, clothes, whatever they need.
And what we were originally going to be doing was working with children, having like Bible studies, but all the kids that were there the previous week had been placed into permanent housing.
God had a different thing in mind.
Tim was like, guys, I don't know what it's going to be like, but just be flexible. And, God definitely wanted our group to be flexible because it was completely different from what we thought it'd be.
What we ended up doing was more of yard work and maintenance and cleaning.
What we did there was mainly clean and fix up anything that we could find.
The people that work there are volunteers, and you can imagine just how much work that they have to do just to keep the place running.
We would help these people that work there sort clothes. We did a lot of cleaning. We were actually just being the hands and feet of Jesus for these people.
Things like that, things that they said would have taken them weeks on end to do, and we knocked it out in a couple days just with sheer numbers and hard work.
There were a couple of families at this home that we got to minister to.
My favorite experience at the Schneider House was sharing my testimony and the plan of salvation with one of the people there. He was very open to listen.
Even though we didn't end up working with the little kids like we thought we would, our group was awesome. Like, they adapted really well.
I really enjoyed seeing all the youth go and clean that place from top to bottom. They had smiles on their faces as they sorted clothes and cleaned the toy room, cleaned out the refrigerator, cleaned the bedrooms upstairs, even cleaning the dumpster.
There was this dumpster that needed cleaned around, and we moved this dumpster. There was 10 or 12 of us, that maybe not quite that many, 6 or 7, 8, I don't know. And we moved this dumpster, and then we cleaned out behind it.
All of our students were so willing to work. It was amazing to see them do some of the dirtiest jobs.
And then there was this really nasty bucket with cigarette butts in it, and whenever I dumped it out in the dumpster, it was the most awful, disgusting smell. I almost threw up. And then Morgan cleaned out the bucket, and we all almost threw up, and it was so nasty.
The smiles on their faces made it all worth it.
Doing that was really neat to see, because a lot of us, we didn't know what we were expecting, but going there, everything just fell into place, and God really used that.
I know God really blessed the people that we were helping. I know He blessed us. He blessed me because it was awesome. It was just awesome.
The camp itself was really awesome.
We were all there hungry to be with God and to just learn from His Word.
The worship there was incredible.
I especially loved the worship.
The worship was really cool.
I absolutely loved worship.
The worship services were a ton of fun.
The worship was very, very amazing.
Almost every student in our youth group, you could see them with their hands lifted, jumping up and down, singing, praising. It was awesome.
Everyone there, they didn't care how you worshiped or what you did. They just worshiped God the way they wanted to, and nobody judged you.
And it changed my life, not just the experience of helping these people, but the worship. Music really gets to my soul. It speaks to me, and it was just life-changing.
Seeing hundreds of kids come together and just crying their soul out to Jesus, letting all the barriers be broken and the chains be broken, and letting Him move in their lives that sometimes they can't do in their day-to-day lives because they feel peer pressure or whatever. But I did not see that there. I saw love. I saw our youth group come together in unison and just pray over each other like I never thought young people could do.
It's what we were made to do. He made us to worship Him. And just to see all our kids in our youth group, worshiping God and just showing Him that they love Him was amazing.
The preaching was amazing. And we had Afshin Ziafat was his name, and he was a former Muslim, converted to Christianity. Just to hear his testimony, oh wow, what a blessing it was. And to think, here we are in Kentucky, and we have a former Muslim from Iran that's come to preach the gospel to us.
In my life, I know God changed my heart in a lot of ways.
God has shown His presence back in my life. I recommitted myself to God.
I actually renewed my life with Christ during that week.
What it really did in my life was help me grow closer with Christ.
One of the biggest highlights for me was that invitation being given at the end. And we're all praying, and then all of a sudden, we open our eyes and we see all of these youth that are down there accepting Christ. There were so many of them. And then to look even closer and see that it was our youth, some of our youth, like 3 of ours was down there that first night. And then more the second night. It was just you've prayed for these kids. You've prayed for them for so long, and to see them make that decision and to know that they belong to Jesus, it was just an amazing time.
My life was changed because on that second day I got saved.
God came into my life. The last full day we were there, I sat down with a friend and said I was going to take the next big step.
In my life personally, I've been, since the mission trip last year, God has been working with my life to, make me born again Christian, be spiritually alive in Him. And I got saved on Tuesday of the mission.
What God taught me mainly was, even though I'm not even out of high school yet and I have a year left, He still used me to impact kids far younger than me, and He opened my eyes to the fact that He's really called me to youth ministry.
Thanks to all the people that have been praying for the trip, because God really moved, and your prayers were prayer is powerful, man. Prayer is so powerful. And just keep praying for the youth, and that they would continue to grow, and us, just that we would continue to seek God the way that we did this past week, with the same passion and fire that we had, and the same joy, because you should have seen the worship services. We were so happy, because that is true joy. There's nothing else in the world that gives you true joy other than God's presence. And okay, that's all. Thanks.